want to welcome you to the first episode of the Organizational Communication Academy podcast. And today we want to address the issue of communication and management. Now, one thing that we want to note is that communication is at the heart of the management function. Organizations cannot plan, they cannot organize, they cannot lead, they cannot do staffing, they cannot even do controlling without communication. And therefore, the organizations will definitely need communication to be able to conduct all these particular functions. Without an effective and efficient communication function, then the management cannot be able to lead the organization. In fact, there will be no order. Things will just be happening, and therefore you definitely need communication to be able to coordinate all the other all the functions of the organization. So why is communication important? It is because communication will help the management to create, communicate, and interpret ideas, facts, opinions, and feelings about work functions. It will also help in the achievement of goals. If you want your employees to have the same goals as you do, then you need to be able to communicate to them effectively and efficiently. Poor communication will definitely lead to poor results, poor management, poor work relations. There will be, less coordinated workflow, and at the end of the day, the organization will not achieve the results for what it was started for. So it is very important for organizations, therefore, to mainstream communication. When an organization communicates, it helps to manage attention, it helps to manage meaning, it helps to manage trust, and it also helps to manage the people who are involved, that is, managing the self. Communication as a human attribute means that if the organization is not communicating, then people are likely to fill the gaps for themselves. If they filled these gaps for themselves, then they are likely to do it in a negative way. And that is now how Grapevine now becomes a part of the organizational communication system, and it is very detrimental to what the organization does. In one of the podcasts, we will be addressing the value of Grapevine in an organization. It is also important to note that communication is what makes interaction possible between the members of the different teams that work in that particular organization. As we have remarked, communication is very important for the coordination of work and of team members of the various departments that work in that particular company. Communication intends to establish good interpersonal relationships, tends to connect people one with another. It is also central in increasing the level of skills. It is key in mobilizing employees so that if there is a task that is being conducted by employees, the only thing that needs to be done is for the management to communicate to these employees, and therefore they will be mobilized to come together so that they can accomplish the task with speed. I was reading a certain example where the management of a seed company needed to meet seed demands for a particular client, and the manager was not sure how he would go about it. And one of the things that the manager did, at the advice of a communication consultant, asked his employees what they should do. And within no time, they were able to meet the demand for that particular client and even exceed that demand in a way that he himself could not explain. Communication again helps to exploit the potential of the work done. Now, what do we mean here? We mean that you can always be able to push your employees to the limit with good communication that addresses their needs. The communication that shows that you trust them, you engage them, you involve them, and that whatever they do is not only for the benefit of the management, but for their own benefit. Fundamentally, then, you can see that strategic communication is very, very essential for any organization. If you want to achieve results, then there is no way that you are going to ignore communication. I have had situations where people think that they do not need to improve or they do not need to involve their employees in communication. In fact, the best that they think that they can do is to give them directions and orders. And at the end of the day, you might find that those directives might not work. So the best thing, therefore, is when you involve your employees in what you want to achieve, then they are likely to back you up. They are likely to know that it is their decision and that they are part and parcel of that particular decision. And therefore, the failure of that decision is their own failure. So it is important that any set of desired goals must always involve communication. What does strategic communication involve? Strategic communication involves purposeful messaging with all the stakeholders of the organization, be it employees, be it the external customers, be it the shareholders. They must be in a position to be communicated to deliberately. You can use internal messaging platforms. You can use meetings, you can use emails, you can use press releases, social media. In fact, social media today has become a very, very critical mode of communication for any organization or business because it is where now organizations are able to engage and also increase their reputation, plus again showcase what they are doing. You can also use radio, TV, and newspapers to communicate to your stakeholders. It is quite imperative to make your organization a communicating organization because, like we have said, communication is a human attribute. It's something that only humans do, and the human that interact with the organization, either as employees or other stakeholders, definitely need to be communicated to. So make your organization a communicating organization.